Picture this. You are standing alone in a pitch black forest. No walls, no doors, no weapons in your hand. Somewhere out there, something with claws is watching you. This was normal, every single night, for hundreds of thousands of years. Your ancestors slept out in the open, exposed, defenseless, slow, weak. A lion can kill you in 3 seconds. A wolf can outrun you without trying. A leopard can smell you from 100 meters away. And yet, night after night, generation after generation, those predators kept their distance. Something invisible was protecting your ancestors. Something that shouldn't have worked at all. Most people assume it was light, that predators simply can't see well when it's bright. But that's not quite right. Scientists have a name for what actually happened. They call it the fire deterrent effect. And the real reason predators fear fire has almost nothing to do with light. It's about something buried much deeper in a predator's brain. Something ancient. Something you still carry inside you, too. Stay till the end, because the last part of this story isn't really about animals at all. It's about you. So let's go back. Back before cities, back before spears, back before language even existed the way we know it now. There's a cave in South Africa called Wonderwerk. Inside it, researchers found burned bone fragments and ash, dated to roughly 1 million years ago. That's one of the earliest hard proofs that a human ancestor didn't just find fire by accident, they controlled it. Imagine you were there, cold stone under your feet, the smell of smoke curling up toward the cave ceiling, and a small flickering light in your hands that no other animal on Earth has ever held. That single flame changed everything. Before fire, your ancestors were prey, slow, clawless, fangless, and outmatched by nearly every predator around them. After fire, something flipped. For the first time in the history of life on this planet, a weak, soft-skinned animal could walk into the dark and not be eaten. But here's what's fascinating. Fire didn't make humans stronger. It didn't give anyone bigger muscles or sharper teeth. So what actually scared the predators away? This is where it gets strange. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham, who spent decades studying human evolution, proposed something called the cooking hypothesis. His idea was simple but massive. Fire didn't just protect early humans, it rewired their entire biology. Cooked food is easier to digest. It releases more calories. And more calories means more energy for a very hungry, very expensive organ, your brain. So the same flame that kept lions at bay may have quietly built the human mind. But let's get back to the predators, because the fear itself is the real mystery. Here's the twist. It's not that predators can't see in firelight. Many predators actually see better in low light than humans do. The fear runs deeper than eyesight. It runs into instinct. For millions of years before humans ever controlled fire, wildfire already existed. Lightning strikes, wildfires, sudden walls of flame that swept across grasslands and forests, killing anything too slow to escape. Every predator that survived long enough to pass down its genes was a predator that treated fire as a 5-alarm warning. Not curiosity, not opportunity, danger. So when your ancestors sat around a small controlled flame, they weren't inventing a new weapon. They were hijacking an instinct that was already millions of years old. Imagine you're a lion approaching a campsite at night. Every fiber of your evolutionary programming is screaming one thing. Flame means the ground is about to become unsurvivable. Run the other way. That single instinct, built for wildfires, became humanity's first real shield. But that's only half the story, because fire alone doesn't fully explain it. There's something about the way fire behaves that makes it even scarier to a predator's brain. Fire moves. Not in a smooth, predictable way like water or wind. It flickers. It jumps. It changes shape and size unpredictably, second by second. To a predator's brain, unpredictable motion combined with heat and light reads as something alive, something dangerous, something that can't be tracked or outsmarted the way prey usually can. Researchers studying predator behavior around campsites in Africa have long noted this pattern. Fires that flicker and pop tend to deter predators more effectively than steady artificial light. Steady light, like a flashlight left on all night, doesn't hold the same unpredictable threat signal. Predators can learn to ignore it. Fire, they can't. So what did that mean for early humans, on the ground, in the dark, exposed? It meant something remarkable. For the first time, a slow, weak, clawless animal could choose where predators would and wouldn't go. Think about what that actually means. Every other prey animal on Earth survives by hiding, running, or grouping together in numbers. Your ancestors found a fourth option. They rewrote the rules of the game entirely. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Fire didn't just push predators away physically, it reshaped human society itself. Before fire, ancestral primates likely slept scattered, tense, alert, ready to bolt at any moment. Sleep is dangerous when you might become dinner. After fire, something changed. Humans could finally relax enough to sleep deeply. And deep sleep, especially REM sleep, is when the brain consolidates memory and processes emotion. So the flame that kept the wolves out may have also been quietly upgrading the human mind, one restful night at a time. And there's a social layer too. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups, including work led by Polly Wiessner, have observed something striking about the hours spent around a fire at night. Daytime conversation tends to focus on complaints, gossip, and logistics. But nighttime conversation, lit only by firelight, shifts dramatically towards storytelling, myth, and shared meaning. The fire wasn't just a wall against predators. It was humanity's first stage, the place where language turned into culture. Imagine you're sitting in that circle, the flames crackling, faces lit orange against total darkness. And for the first time in the history of life on Earth, a group of animals is sitting in a circle, safe enough to just talk. That circle is where stories were born, where warnings about dangerous animals turned into legends, where the first version of you, a creature that thinks in narratives, started to take shape. But then, does fire actually work against every predator, every time? Not quite. And this is where modern science adds a twist. Researchers studying lion behavior in Africa, including field data compiled by conservationists working with rural communities, have found that fire alone isn't a perfect shield. Determined, hungry, or habituated predators can, and sometimes do, approach fire-lit camps, especially if food is nearby. Fire lowers the odds dramatically. It doesn't erase them completely. That single detail actually makes the story more human, not less, because it means your ancestors weren't invincible around their fires. They were playing the odds, night after night, generation after generation, slowly tilting survival in their favor. And it worked well enough that here you are. So what killed the danger for good? Nothing did, not really. Modern predator research, including studies on lion and hyena avoidance behavior, shows something almost poetic. It's not fire alone that keeps predators away today. It's fire combined with the sound and scent of humans. A team led by biologist Liana Zanet ran an experiment broadcasting recorded sounds near watering holes in South Africa. When lions heard recordings of humans talking, calmly, quietly, ordinarily, they fled faster and more often than when they heard lions roaring or gunshots. Let that sink in. To a wild lion, the sound of an ordinary human voice is scarier than the sound of another lion. Combine that voice with flickering flame, and you get the deterrent effect your ancestors were unknowingly relying on for hundreds of thousands of years. Not just fire, not just sound, the presence of something predators have learned, deep in their evolutionary memory, to avoid. Which means the fear predators feel isn't really about you as an individual. It's about what your entire species represents now. Danger with intention. Danger that plans. And that brings us back to you. Because here's the part that changes everything. You still carry this story, even now, thousands of years later. Think about why a candle in a dark room feels comforting. Why a campfire on a camping trip makes strangers relax and start talking. Why cities light their streets at night. and why total darkness still makes your skin prickle even inside your own home. That's not random. That's ancient circuitry still running. You are the descendant of the only primate on Earth that looked at the most destructive force in nature and decided to carry it around in a pouch of embers. Every predator that ever stalked your ancestors in the dark eventually learned the same lesson. This particular animal is different. This one bites back with light. We traded a life of hiding from the dark for a life of controlling it. And most of us alive today have never once had to sit in true, ancient, predator-filled darkness and wonder if we'll see morning. That fear didn't disappear. It just went quiet. It's still there, in the part of your brain that flinches at a sudden shadow, that feels safer with a lamp on, that still, after 1,000,000 years, associates flickering light with survival. The flame outlasted the fear it was built to fight, and in a strange way, it's still burning in you.